Welcome to GastroVision. I am Dr. Qazi Suhail and I am working as a gastroenterologist at Government Medical College, Srinagar. I am here to bring you clear and conceptual videos on endoscopic ultrasound. Today is lesson number 4 on approach in endoscopic ultrasound. Today I will be discussing D2 station, that is descending part of duodenum, in detail. In the descending part of duodenum, always start imaging in a short axis position, that is, in which the scope is stretched. Let's analyze here. You can see my transducer is facing posteriorly and leftwards towards descending aorta. If you have watched my previous videos, you can see aorta in the range of tip beam, central beam, as well as shaft beam. That's why you can see aorta as a large anechoic structure extending from left to right of the EUS screen. Now keep turning the scope clockwise to image an irregular anechoic area, which is the horizontal part of the duodenum. You can inject lukewarm water to make the horizontal part of the duodenum easier to identify. You can also see pancreatic echogenicity just close to the probe, which is the inferior part of head of pancreas here. Now start withdrawing the scope slightly. Turn it clockwise a little and gently until you can see the superior mesenteric vein, which is seen as a long cylinder anechoic structure extending from the tip beam to shaft beam, that is, from the left side to the right side of screen. You can also appreciate tip portion closer to superior mesenteric vein and shaft portion farther. That's why you can see on the right side of screen superior mesenteric vein is farther from the probe. Now carefully observe the head of pancreas, which can be visualized between the superior mesenteric vein and the shaft portion of transducer. To make sure you don't miss the inferior head of the pancreas, try to follow the superior mesenteric vein towards the inferior side, that is left side of your image. Try to follow it until you see a vessel that flows into the superior mesenteric vein. Observe carefully that this anechoic structure that flows in superior mesenteric vein on the left side of your screen is pancreatico-duodenal vein. Now, as you observe the head of pancreas, while slowly withdrawing the scope, two luminal anechoic structures will be visualized. These two tubular anechoic structures are bile duct and pancreatic duct. If you analyze the anatomical image here, you can see these two structures are in the range of central beam and shaft beam from the transducer. That's why you can see them on the central field extending to the right side of EUS image. Remember, the shaft beams are displayed on the right side of your EUS image, while the central beam will be displayed in the center. Another thing that is important here is the distance of these structures from the transducer while you are in the descending part of duodenum. In the descending part of duodenum, bile duct will be closer to the transducer. That is why the upper tubular anechoic structure is bile duct and the lower one is pancreatic duct. While you keep withdrawing your scope, you can see these two tubular structures terminating in an oval anechoic structure. This structure is major papilla. Since here in the image, papilla is in the range of central beam, that's why you can see it in the central field. You can facilitate your observation by expanding the descending duodenum by injecting lukewarm water. After identifying the area of major papilla, that's bile duct and pancreatic duct, turn the scope a little bit clockwise. By doing this, you are actually changing the direction of beams emitted from the transducer from oblique posterior leftward direction to straight leftwards. By doing this, the main pancreatic duct will be imaged in the long axis direction. You can see a prominent anechoic main pancreatic duct in the range of central and shaft beam. Here in the image, you can also appreciate superior mesenteric vein in the view of tip beam. That's why the anechoic structure you see on the extreme left of your EUS image is actually superior mesenteric vein. Now you have visualized pancreatic duct. After examining main pancreatic duct and the surrounding area of pancreas, now you will try to examine bile duct. For visualizing bile duct, you need to turn your scope gently anticlockwise because bile duct is posteriorly located in relation to pancreatic duct. While you keep on rotating your scope anticlockwise, you can see after pancreatic duct disappears, bile duct starts appearing just superior to the area where pancreatic duct was visualized. You can keep on gently rotating and do slight lateral maneuvering so that bile duct becomes prominent. At this point, you are actually examining distal part of common bile duct that is terminating in major papilla, which you can see on the left side of your image here. Now, from this, if you want to examine proximal common bile duct, you can follow it up to hepatic hilum by gentle withdrawal and flexing your transducer. But be careful not to pull the scope. That's all for today. Thank you and see you in the next video.